Okay, so it's Claire again here, and we're inside now. This part of the property is the small, it used to be a small cottage. At some point it was joined onto the property next door. We believe the bigger property next door is newer. It used to be the village grocery store, and that closed in about 1999, and for 20 years the property was sectioned off into individual rooms that were rented out to contractors who worked at Easington, which is a place where the North Sea oil and gas comes into. So as you can see, this is probably the roughest room in the house. It used to be the kitchen. When we moved in, there was literally the kitchen sink, and we had a toaster and a microwave, which for a family of 4 wasn't great, but we put it with that for about 18 months, and now we have a nice kitchen, thank God. But in the meantime, this is what the room actually looks like, which is this corner is full of shit that we need to sell on Facebook, and this is full of business stock, which is mainly blank mugs and stuff. It's not really worth stealing if anybody is casing the joint. So this is the front door where the other video was in front of. If you go into this corner, an old chap knocked on the door not long after we'd moved in. He told us that he used to be the shopkeeper here some years ago, and this is where he feels the cellar is. Now unfortunately the old chap passed away, so we can't ask him any more information, but he said behind this wall here there is a staircase down into some sort of cellar, and beyond that is a tunnel to the church. Now the guy who works in the bar opposite in the pub, Ricky, he said he's been down the tunnel as a child. Now unfortunately we're in lockdown, but when we're not, I might ask if I can interview him and record what he says. So we have a hole in the floor that we left when we had the damp course done, because obviously the walls were damp when we moved in, so we had to get that done. So somewhere down there we believe is the tunnel. Now when we moved in, behind this fireplace here was a black void, and nobody could give us any information about it, including the guy that we bought the house from. Now we understand that this was some sort of bread oven. This cottage is the end of a row of workers' cottages, and we understand, we might be wrong, but having done a little bit of research, that the end cottage in those situations very often had the village bread ovens, and everyone would have their allocated day to bake bread for the week for their family. So that's what we think this is. We think that behind there, however, there is some sort of steps down to a cellar and a tunnel. Now the church, I'll take you out the back. So we've got this lovely door, which honestly, I'm 5'5" and I have to duck to go under it. It's ancient and very old. I'll put a photograph of that there. We have this optimistically called conservatory, which is just a dumping ground for all shit because it's going to get knocked down. And then if you go into the garden, that's Don. He's been doing the digging. Oh. This is the back of the house. So that's the church. And if you, that is a load of shit that needs to go. I hope other people don't have immaculate houses. I'm a bit embarrassed about this. Okay, so in this back corner, I don't know if you can see, the rendering's been patched up and there's a doorway that's been bricked up, which is at the back of the fireplace and just behind where that original wall was in the kitchen. And that is where we're going to go in to start with, to see what we can find behind there. So we'll keep you posted and I'll live stream as much as I can. See ya!